suppress that a little
Yeah,
bit.
there's
So
like
we don't know exactly what it's going to look like, probably more interactive things. But the theme, getting back to the theme, so this kind of presents, here's these worldwide problems with natural resources. You know, wetlands, forests, biodiversity, all these things under various threats. And then there's a little, I guess I'd just say a little disconnect with sort of the history of bird migration, and some of the first bird observations were at lighthouses, you know, so we started collecting information. But then it steps it down to, okay, there's these global problems. Here's what's happening in the nation. This is Chesapeake Bay. You know, water degradation, loss of oysters, all these different things. So it kind of steps it down to more of a local, regional, you know, prairie potholes, so North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, parts of Montana, issues there, and then kind of try to tell a message of what the Fish and Wildlife Service is doing to help with wetland preservation and some of the research going on that talks about, you know, studying waterfowl migration and predation and how to try to raise more waterfowl on less land, that sort of thing. And then go into the next section, is on the brink, which because of habitat loss, because of these development pressures, whatever's going on, we end up with a lot of endangered species. So this kind of sends that message a little bit subliminally. It doesn't really hit you over the head because, oh, what are these frosty windows? But the point is that these are endangered species. They're hard to find in the wild, so we kind of want to make the visitors, well, we have to kind of search for, oh, there's the tortoise over there. You know, there's the, I think we went by a Hawaiian forest bird. So that's why they're frosted. You know, we had a couple of people say, I want to just scrape you know, the paint off these so we can see them. But we're trying to send that message in a different way. So, you know, the school kids especially love this room. You know, seeing animals they've never seen before. These are all either replicas or mounts from animals that died naturally. It's not like we were killing endangered species to put these displays up. Then the next kind of segment of the displays are these what we call life cycle pods. We have the gray wolf, whooping cranes, sea otters, and canvasbacks. So kind of a mix of different species that are imperiled for different reasons, and kind of goes through their annual life cycle, what's going on at any one time during their years. So. And a lot of schools come out, they have specific interest in, we want a lesson on the wolf, we want a lesson on whooping. These tend to be two of our more popular displays, the gray wolf and the whooping crane. You know, sea otters way over off the coast of California, maybe some resident people here in Chesapeake Bay that would kill lots of people.
So here today visiting the Patuxent Wildlife Visitor Center. Anne Arundel County has many assets that a lot of us don't know about, and one of them is this incredible wildlife refuge here in western Anne Arundel County. Believe it or not, it's 14,000 acres covering an area along the Patuxent River. Part of the park is in Prince George's County, but most of the park is right here in Anne Arundel County. We've just finished touring the Visitor Center. It is extremely interesting, and I recommend that you pay a visit one of these days. And we're now about to get into the vehicles and tour the interior of this fabulous resource.
One lane in, one lane out, trying to avoid forest fragmentation, look from a bird's eye view. You know, one lane road is going to canopy over quicker than if we were two lanes side by side. So there's still places where there's plenty of open, you know, sky from the road surface up. But there's lots of, this road is only 20 years old. Another 15 or 20 years, the canopy will continue to enclose, and it may not ever be perfect, but certainly will close over a lot more than this was twice as wide. So, and I also tell groups and whatnot that we feel it's working. I mean, we named it Scarlet Tanager Lute because they're one of the sort of iconic interior dwelling species of forest birds. And every now and then we will see a scarlet tanager cross the road. Ovenbirds are another one that are associated with the interior of forests, and they have a very distinctive, they're also called informally teacher bird. Their call is teacher, teacher, teacher. It's pretty distinctive. And we can stop along here in the spring and summer, we hear them calling in various places. So those forest interior birds are utilizing habitat on either side of the road, so that tells us that it's at least, partially successful in maintaining that great species.
So we're now in the we're in the central tract right
Correct,
now.
yeah.
Is there a bridge over the Patuxent? There must
is,
be,
yeah,
because we're about to cross
Yeah,
over.
we'll be crossing that here in a little bit. And again, that's when
Now, is this a leftover military road, or what is this?
This is not. This was, we don't get to the military lands until we cross the river. So this is just one of the interior maintenance roads. Here you can see a lot of the facilities. We have a mix, there's some residences. We have about 5 people that live on the refuge, law enforcement facilities, or bird handlers, animal colonies.
So they're employees in some fashion. They're not
correct,
old homesteads left over.
Right. This is Snowden Hall, which Lord Snowden was one of the major landowners in Prince George's County. He also owned land in Anne Arundel, land grants from the king, I can't remember which king. But that's the oldest building on the property. It's no longer really functional or usable. And then we'll be going by these 3 large brick buildings that were all built like 38, 39, and 40, just basically pre-World War II. And started serving, a research purpose. They also housed civilian conservation corps workers that were doing projects like, making some of these areas into impoundments. The building there, with the black roof, that's Gabrielson Lab. That's the main headquarters for the research center staff.
Right.
We also have a vet hospital on the refuge because of all the bird colonies. They have cranes, kestrels, and screech owls, and then a variety of ocean living ducks or sea ducks.
Where does that road, if you went that way, go?
That circles back kind of through here. That circles back through the kind of maintenance compound and back to the road.
So is it just a loop?
It's just a loop. Oh yeah, do you want to keep that out? So we are approaching.
Right
We're going to be These dots indicate impoundments that we plan to get rid of over time. But this is Snowden Pond, and it's very deep. It was dug out to provide a source of water for those 3 buildings on the hill that for firefighting purposes. So it was basically just a little creek dug out, probably topographically it looks like a big stock pond if you were to drain it, but to provide fire water.
You said there was no natural ponds in Maryland?
There's no natural lakes. There's
like Deep Creek Lake is not natural?
No, that's
a dam.
A dam on a river or creek. What are the ones north of here? I'm trying to think of the name of the big reservoirs north here on like the Patuxent.
Little Pretty Boy and Loch Raven.
Yeah, those are all man-made.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and I come from Wisconsin, where there's
millions of lakes. So this, you can't even see this road.
Well, it's probably it's through this thick forest canopy. This is some of the older forest on the refuge.
Yeah.
But we'll be popping out here into the clear. And then we are coming up on, I mentioned the Whooping Crane Observatory. You can see the 2 cranes in the corner. The 2 white ones are the whooper. And then this is the first year they've done this. They put a sandhill crane, so different species of crane, in with them, just to, I guess, kind of test out their parenting instincts. And even though they don't have the right genetic makeup, they do a lot of things, initially with a very small subset of critters. And so now maybe next year, the year after, they'll introduce a small sandhill crane chick to other first-time parents and see how they behave raising a chick that's already hatched and somewhat fledged. So, kind of continually, that's what research is, trial and error and seeing what works, what doesn't work.
So these were tank roads?
Not this one yet, but it probably would hold the tank. So this is the Patuxent, this is Duval Bridge, historic bridge. We rebuilt it because the load capacity was way down, so we had to rebuild it. And so now we are officially in Anne Arundel County. But you can see why I didn't really want to have a lower clearance vehicle on this road.
are in one of the most remote, undisturbed natural areas in all of Anne Arundel County. This is amazing. We've just crossed over from Prince George's County over the Patuxent River across an ancient bridge called the Duval Bridge, which is actually itself the name of an ancient Maryland family that owned vast tracts of Anne Arundel County and Prince George's County hundreds of years ago. This part of Anne Arundel County looks like it could be absolutely undisturbed from the way it was 500 years ago.
You can see here we've even patched it a few